From Dave shutting down dumb questions with simple answers like,
every black American is bilingual. All of them.
To Dave letting the host know that he's not going to drop his vape till the show was done.
This is my plan. It was my exit strategy.
Okay.
So that you still get...
These are times that Dave Chappelle shut down interviewers the funniest way possible. Dave Chappelle is in the middle of a joke about his wife when the interviewer keeps talking over him. Without missing a beat, Dave turns to him and tells him to stop shouting at him. The crowd erupts in laughter. The interviewer laughs too, but for a second, you can tell. He knows Dave just put him in his place.
But if you're
a romantic fool, yeah.
I'm crazy about my wife. That's why I see these jokes about me and my wife. Well, you stop shouting at me, I'm talking. All right, thank you.
Yeah.
The conversation shifts to the rumors about Dave's disappearance. The media went wild, saying he was in a mental institution. Dave just shakes his head, grinning, and his response would blow your mind because even the crowd went wild. He's making fun of how ridiculous the stories were. He wasn't locked up. He was chilling.
Stories like comedian Dave Chappelle's in a mental institution in South Africa. And I was like, man, I must be losing my mind.
Yeah.
Because I thought this was the beach. Yeah. And everybody calls me crazy. You know, I mean, it was just...
You're hearing on the news things like he's gone crazy, which never sounded, that doesn't sound right, you know? And
well, you know, maybe I know stuff people don't want me to talk about. So
right.
we don't want other people to believe. So they'll call me crazy. Mm-hmm. But it was a weird thing to get called crazy. At first it was scary. And then now I feel like it's liberating. Like, I feel free, like I can just say what I want to do what I want. They already call me crazy. I can't hold myself accountable for these things. I'm crazy. I can't be held responsible. Yeah.
Then the interviewer asks why he went to Africa. Dave leans in with eyes full of mischief and explains that if a black man wants to hide, Africa's a good place. His delivery is flawless, making the audience laugh, but beneath the humor lies a deeper truth. Dave knew exactly what he was doing.
And, what was the reason that you went to Africa? Was there a reason that you decided to go to Africa?
Well, there are a few reasons, but I mean, you know, if you a black dude trying to hide, Africa is a good place. It's a, you know, a lot of cats fit my profile.
Yeah.
So I was.
It's like, I'm gonna go to Ireland and try and hide Africa. Argy bargy,
Dave Chappelle's interview with James Lipton had many deep, raw, and sometimes intense moments. Lipton did not ask anything outright weird. He brought up Dave's father's death and how Dave once called it the beginning of a terrible decline. That's a heavy subject. Losing a parent is already painful, but having to talk about it in an interview, that's another level. Dave didn't dodge the question or get angry. Instead, he answered with honesty. But you could feel the weight in his words.
What did you mean, Dave, when you described your father's death in 1998 as the beginning of a terrible decline?
I was 23 when I was doing Half Baked. I was getting ready to turn 24. And I was going through all the things that a dude goes through when it goes from one level to the next. I was starring in a movie that I wrote. So things start getting crazy around you.
Yeah.
The conversation shifted to something that had clearly frustrated Dave for years. The time Variety accused him of pulling the race card. The media was suddenly everywhere, calling him, questioning him, making him feel like he had been turned into a political symbol. Now I'm scared to death. I'm like Rosa Parks or something. I'm not ready for this. His words weren't funny in the usual Chappelle way. They carried fear, exhaustion, and exasperation. He wasn't shutting Lipton down, but you could tell he was tired of the narrative the media had built around him.
Chappelle pulls the race card. The race card. And I get calls from Newsweek, 60 Minutes. Everybody, we want your story. Now I'm scared to death. I'm like Rosa Parks or something. I'm like, I'm not ready for this. I was just venting a little bit. And then, a few months later, Dad dies. And that's hard for a young dude in his life. That's a real tough loss. I was there when he died. And he went from being my father to what are we going to do with the body. Within moments, it was over. And I'm going through all this stuff, and this is the guy I would usually talk to, right? Dead. And I got to figure this out for myself. I don't want to figure this out for myself. You know, I was beat down. I wasn't living right. You know what I mean? Like, the weed thing was just bad habit at this point. And you know what I mean? All these, you know, chicken head girls you mess with when it comes with the territory. I'm just being real. Just being real.
The conversation took another turn. Lipton made a comment about how Dave perfectly mimicked white speech in his comedy. Then, he suggested that Dave could talk that way all the time. That moment was one of those where the air in the room changes. The audience likely held their breath, but Dave, being Dave, didn't lash out. He responded immediately, "Every black American is bilingual." He wasn't just answering the question, he was correcting an assumption. He explained how black people learn to switch between street vernacular and job interview speech. His tone wasn't angry, but the message was sharp. He made a point, and he made it well. Lipton didn't argue. There was nothing to argue about.
Every black American is bilingual. All of them. We speak street vernacular, and we speak job interview. There's a certain way I gotta speak to have access. If I'm sitting across the table from a studio exec, you know, sometimes they'll do it to me. "Say, my man, what's happening?" I'm saying, hold up, no. And I gotta throw out them big words. I gotta let them know that my parents are probably smarter than your parents.
Yeah. And much better educated.
They're much better educated than your parents, but they may not have had the access that your parents have. But this is show business. I can climb that socioeconomic ladder just off the merit of my skills. I can talk that shit. It's a God-given gift.
Then came one of the heaviest moments of the interview. Dave talked about how fame had changed everything for him. He wasn't just a comedian anymore. He was a target, a product, a name the media could twist and shape however they wanted, and he didn't like it. His voice was serious, his words sharp. He wasn't talking about Lipton. He was talking about the media, the critics, the people who tried to control his story. There was no joke in his tone, no laughter in the air. This was a man who had seen the dark side of fame, and for a moment, it felt like he was standing at the edge of it again.
This past year, I did the least stand-up I've done since I started. I was freaked out, man, with the fame thing and being called crazy and drug addict and all these things. Scared me. You know, being treated that way. Like I'm not a person anymore. You say this shit about me in front of my children, and you know, who the f*** do these people think they are? And they don't know what happened. You know, I have not spoken about what would make a person walk off the set of a successful show and go to Africa. But again, people don't understand it, so they call me crazy, and I don't like that.
The next interview was with Jimmy Kimmel. The moment the interview kicked off, Jimmy asked why Dave dropped 2 comedy specials after 13 years. Without hesitation, Dave gave the blunt truth. Money. No deep reasoning, just business. The audience laughed, but it was real. He explained he made the specials, shelved them, then sold them. Kimmel, surprised, asked if that was the plan all along. Dave, unfazed, compared it to a photograph. Old doesn't mean worthless. The room relaxed as it became clear. He wasn't seeking approval, just telling it like it is.
Is there a fair representation of the night they were shot? You know, but the thing is, things have changed so rapidly now.
Yeah.
And the way people listen to things changed so rapidly. So maybe I was a little worried, but not enough to not put them out.
Hollywood interviews avoid money talk, but Kimmel pushed, bringing up Dave's $60 million Netflix deal. Dave joked at first, but shut down further, probing with a controlled response. When Kimmel pressed about tipping, Dave flipped it into a joke about stereotypes, dodging the awkwardness and taking control.
Do you feel pressure now to leave a bigger tip at a restaurant, especially in the glow of the news? This is happening to you?
I don't know if you've heard the stereotype, black people don't tip well. So
Kimmel brought up Kyrie Irving's flat earth belief, tossing it to Dave like a casual topic. But Dave just stared, baffled. His reaction said it all. This was a dumb question. Instead of engaging, he shrugged it off with a reality check. Does it even matter? The audience laughed, but Dave wasn't wasting time on nonsense. When Kimmel pushed, Dave shut it down. Flat or round, nothing changes. Conversation over, message clear. Dave Chappelle had no time for foolishness.
Who plays for the Cavaliers? He recently said that he believes the world is flat. Is that a subject that you covered with him? Were you aware of that?
I wouldn't even know how to broach that topic. Word, is that what you think? He's like, what do you say?
I don't know. I guess maybe you just kind of, I guess if you feel it, it won't really make any kind of a difference.
I don't understand the philosophy behind the flat earth theory.
Why? Why do you say that?
I just don't understand. First of all, what difference does it make?
When Dave brought up the infamous Detroit incident, the energy shifted. TMZ claimed he was drunk, bombed, and got booed off stage. But Dave set the record straight. He wasn't drunk, just too high from rapper weed. He didn't run, he stayed. With humor and defiance, he flipped the narrative, proving he wasn't just a comedian, but a fighter, determined to control his own story.